What's up, guys? SirAllAboutMusic here to talk about Pink Floyd's 1980 double LP rock opera, The Wall. And I had already done this video, but I think I can do a better job of explaining myself, so I'm going to do it again. And the thing is that I don't really care for rock operas. I just don't. I think rock operas are a perfect example of the bloatedness of rock music. I think they're just undeniable examples and reasons for the arrival of punk rock. I mean, their existence is just ridiculous. And you know, every art form, every movement in art reaches a point where it's just ridiculous and no one cares about it anymore. And really, prog rock had reached that point by the 80s. It really had. And The Wall is a perfect example of that. Now, there are songs on here and moments on here that I love. I totally love. You know, I adore them. This is actually one of them right here. Great groove. They got home at night, they're fat and psychopathic wise, would thrash them within inches of their lives. You know, there's some cool points on here. There's no denying it. There are some great cool points. There's some great sing-along points, some great grooves. But they're intermittent. They're not all that common. And really, it's bloated. In general, The Wall takes a harsher tone, a harsher stylistic approach to the songwriting, and being a rock opera is a lot more theatrical. It's a lot bigger. It's a lot more epic, and those things I can deal with. Those things I can definitely deal with. But when the problem that I have with it is there are really two. By this point, Nick Mason is a basically a non-person, a non-band member. What does he do on this album? He does nothing. He's a metronome. He's a timekeeper. Honestly, you cannot. If anyone can point to me one good fill that he does, he doesn't do anything. Rick Wright left. He fucking left. Because it becomes so petty. He wasn't having any fun anymore. That's stupid. If Rick Wright, one of the greatest keyboard players that has ever lived, in my opinion, and a founding member of Pink Floyd, leaves, you know you have a problem. That should be a hint. So, yeah, fuck that. And The Wall is all about Roger Waters. It's Roger Waters' brainchild. It's a concept album. It has to do with personal isolation, the construction of a wall that separates him from his audience, tensions that had erupted during the In the Flesh tour, where Waters actually spit in the face of one of his fans. Now, I can understand his dislike of his fans because a lot of Pink Floyd fans, I think, were kind of mindless. They were just, drugged out druggies that really didn't have any understanding of the message that Floyd was trying to get across in their albums, Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Animals. And I can see their frustration erupting from that. But the product of that isn't very good. So I'm not digging on them for, wanting to make the record. I just don't think that, I did a very good job. And usually what happens with rock operas is the music suffers in place of the telling of the story. The artists are so interested in getting their story told that they will write, whatever shit comes to their minds to be able to tell it. And that just doesn't make for a quality album. I'd rather have an album that has a theme like Animals or Dark Side of the Moon, but doesn't necessarily tell a story. So that's the deal with that. And even when you get to rock operas like The Who's Tommy, I'm just not on board with that. It's not my thing. That being said, I can understand why people enjoy this. When I first got this, I loved it. I thought it was great. It's just my attitude towards rock operas in general and prog rock at that point, and a lot of other factors that come into play here. I'm just not interested anymore. And this album never really grew on me. There's a lot of songs on here that I fucking hate. I loathe. I think they're terrible. Like I said, the music suffers in place of the story. And none of those songs never really grew on me. They never really grew on me. So, I can't respect it any more than I did when I first got it, and actually I respect it less. So that's my deal with that. I enjoy, and there's some good social commentary on here. I mean, no doubt. The parts about the schoolmasters, the abusive schoolmasters, and at some points maybe the sexually abusive schoolmasters and school employees. I think that's great that Floyd was talking about that, because not a lot of people were. So I commend Floyd for doing this album. For a couple of different reasons, but in general, I just don't care. I don't like it. It's just not my thing. Just not my thing. And really, when it comes to the final cut, I'm just going to talk about the final cut now. It's disc 3 of The Wall. It really is. There's really nothing to say about that. There's no stylistic conceptions that separate it from The Wall. A lot of the problems that Waters was dealing with that created the concept of The Wall also are present in the final cut. There's no difference, honestly, in my opinion, in my eyes. So that's that. So overall, The Wall gets a 6. I'm on one side of not caring, because there are some good songs on here. There's some good points on here. But in general, it's just not my thing. I think it's a terrible album. But I realize the reasons they put it out. I can appreciate some of the reasons they put it out, and I can actually commend them for a couple of the reasons that they put it out. So, yeah, that's Pink Floyd's The Wall and the final cut. SirAllAboutMusic, and I'll see you guys next time.